The anniversary of A Pirate's Life is nigh, with the Xbox Game Showcase on the horizon in just 5 days as of recording this video. And only 2 days to go until the Summer Games Fest kicks off, with Sea of Thieves having more or less a guaranteed big announcement, and Lost Sands ending this Thursday. Let's delve into the schedule of and what we can expect over this next week. But before we do, this video is sponsored by I Am 8-Bit. No doubt you've probably heard of I Am 8-Bit if you're a fan of Sea of Thieves' music, but if you haven't, I Am 8-Bit are broadly speaking a video game merchandise company who've worked with many massive games and companies such as Ori, Gang Beasts, Battletoads, and of course Sea of Thieves to name a few. As well as selling art, clothing, pins and other general merch, what they're most known for is selling vinyls, more specifically the soundtracks to many popular games, which as you'll know from you're a fan of the channel, I'm obsessed with the music of games. And when I received my Sea of Thieves vinyl, which is officially endorsed by Rare and has over 35 tracks, it came in perfect condition. None of the vinyls were damaged, which was really good considering it shipped from Los Angeles to the UK, and the overall quality of the product was amazing, with the book of stories included to read that complemented the entire soundtrack. Currently they are sadly out of stock, but when they're back, which should be soon, if you've been thinking about picking up the vinyl, you should definitely from these guys. Links will be in the description to their website and the Sea of Thieves vinyl page if you want to join the waitlist to get notified when it's back in stock. Alright, back to all things Sea of Thieves. Alrighty, so I want to kick off with the evidence for something massive being at the Xbox Game Showcase. First off, we all know that Season 7 was unfortunately delayed by 5 weeks, but one of the most obvious pieces of evidence can be found before the delay. This is the simple fact that Season 7 was originally slated to release 4 days after the showcase, so this in itself shows that they originally planned to release Season 7 as a follow-up to the showcase. However, they announced they needed more development time. Personally, I don't think this is the only reason for the delay. Sea of Thieves: A Pirate's Life had 9 days of build-up from the announcement trailer, because the thing is, the Summer Games Fest is the absolute best way to announce anything in the gaming world, as the entire community are watching. However, it's only good for announcements. After A Pirate's Life, we very quickly got a lot more mediums of content. Almost too quickly. We were incredibly blown away and didn't know what to say. We got the cinematic trailer, shortly after the gameplay trailer, then the deep dive, and finally the content update. After whatever they release at the showcase is announced in the form of a cinematic trailer, which I'll explain why in a second, we'll then more than likely probably get a gameplay trailer at the extended showcase, like A Pirate's Life. Around a week or two, the deep dive, then after another week or two, the content update, and then finally the update. We can clearly see this delay has actually worked out quite well for them, as it can get people hyped up for whatever Season 7 will be. It's just short of a time that will keep people interested, but just long enough to give a lot of hype. Moving on to our second piece of major evidence, it's actually pretty simple. And that's they've been there nearly every year. Sea of Thieves is a big and growing game despite its age. 2018 they announced Forsaken Shores and Cursed Tales. 2019 there wasn't an explicit announcement due to the anniversary update earlier that year being massive. 2020 they talked about Vaults of the Ancients and Dogs, but again they'd already released their anniversary of that year being Ships of Fortune with Reapers and Emissaries, as well as them working really hard on A Pirate's Life. Speaking of, 2021 rolls around and of course A Pirate's Life hits. 3 out of the 4 years they've been there, and all 4 summers the game has endured, they've released something massive. After all, summer for games is the big time for big updates. The announcement for games drop, ready for releases at Christmas, and big updates happen now in order for them to be able to have a few chiller updates ready to brand for Christmas. Our final bit of evidence links in with the first about seasons, and that's the adventures. If we look at the dates of everything, the next Sea of Thieves adventure, The Forsaken Hunter, was due to start a week after Season 4 before the delay. And seeing as no big lore things have happened in Lost Sands, it is my firm belief that Season 7 will tie into the next adventure. Like the Shrouded Deep prequeled The Legend of the Veil, I believe Season 7 will prequel The Forsaken Hunter, which can only mean one thing if we're talking about story. But we'll get onto that later. So speaking of all these events, what's the schedule for this week? Starting off with Thursday the 9th, this Thursday, the Lost Sands Aftermath Day. On this day, we'll either get a returning functional outpost or a desolate piece of land, depending on who wins, and perhaps a glimpse into what will become of either outcome in the results stream at 6 PM BST. Also on Thursday, it's the Summer Games Fest kicking off at 7 PM BST, showcasing an incredible amount of games including Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2's campaign. Whilst Microsoft have their own separate event, it's highly possible that Rare and Sea of Thieves could be at this opening ceremony of the wider Summer Games event. If you don't know, it's basically taken E3's spot after it got cancelled. There's loads of events, these are just the Sea of Thieves related ones. On Sunday the 12th, it's the big main event, the Xbox Game Showcase. This will contain for certain all of the big hits like Sea of Thieves, Halo, Forza Horizon 5 and so many more incredible games. Tuesday the 14th rolls around for our final main event with the Xbox Extended Showcase, another 90 minutes showing us extra trailers, gameplay and more information about all of the games shown at the main event on Sunday. Sea of Thieves will definitely be at this. And then to add to that, Sea of Thieves Season 7 Deep Dive and the content update. We don't know when that will release, but it will certainly release in the coming weeks and the build up to Season 7, whatever it may be. Alrighty, it's time to talk about Tall Tales. I strongly believe that the developers are hiding a campaign from us. Regardless of if you're an insider, I couldn't care less. We've seen with the Pirates Life that they will hide and mask things with us in order to surprise the community. Therefore, anything anyone may see in Insider, whilst it's obviously coming, there could be anything alongside of it. It could be delayed, it could be done, whatever. Last year showed us what they are willing to do. I believe the same thing will happen this year. Whilst I do now actually think that it's not overly likely that Jack Sparrow will return, I do strongly believe we're going to be looking at a new Tall Tales set. Strictly speaking, it's also the right time for them, a year after the previous. The anniversary update with the Shores of Gold released on April 30th, the Seabound Souls 7 months later, Heart of Fire 4 months later, and A Pirate's Life 15 months after. And now 12 months after, now is going to be the absolute perfect time. The reception to A Pirate's Life was insane, everyone loved them. And most people, let's face it, do love Tall Tales. They shouldn't be added in all the time, but released once a year or once a year and a half really works to complement pre-existing content, and progress the story even further. Which, speaking of, Tall Tales really can accelerate it rapidly. They could end the Flameheart arc in a single set if they wanted to. Not that they will though, I've no idea what it could be about, but no doubt if they do add new tales, they'll be phenomenal, obviously. This is why I believe we'll be getting a cinematic trailer at the Xbox Game Showcase. The facts for me, the dates, the delays, the time frame, it just all adds up for me for the release of Tall Tales. Everything is in the right place for the release of them. So I'll have to see this Sunday. This next update for Sea of Thieves will be the peak of the year, the ultimate update, our anniversary update, the update to top everything we've got so far, the pinnacle of what Rare will do in 2022/Year 5. Something I briefly wanted to touch on before the end of the video is actually Everwild. The game was rumoured to be in shambles and borderline cancelled due to many complete reworks and redesigns of the game, and at points apparently even the developers didn't know what their own game was about. But with a new design director that was an OG Rare employee back in the peak days of Rare, not that it's not in its peak days now, but back when it was releasing some really good old classics, it seems things are more than back on their rails, and we could be seeing a release mid to late 2023 or early 2024, meaning we will probably be seeing a trailer for Everwild, if not more, announced at the Xbox Game Showcase, which is really exciting. Although Everwild will be a single-player game, or at least that's what we're under the assumption of so far, and Sea of Thieves will always remain Rare's #1 IP, with it being quite a big jewel in the Microsoft crown, it will still hopefully get a load of traction, and fingers crossed references to Sea of Thieves and potentially crossovers. Anyways, that does just about wrap up this video. Let me know what you think of all this down in the comments below, as I'm genuinely interested to see what you want to come at the Xbox Game Showcase. Whatever they announce, I'm sure it'll be really epic, but as I say, I'm pretty sure that it is going to be Tall Tales, which is even more awesome. Links to I'm 8-Bit and all that will be down in the comments below. Thanks to them for sponsoring this video once again. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy, please consider leaving a like, it helps out a ton, and subscribe to stay up to date with all the latest Sea of Thieves news as and when it comes out, and why not hit the bell as well so you don't miss a single upload over this next hectic week, because I'm going to be staying up to date with all the latest Sea of Thieves news as you can imagine, and so you'll be the first to know as long as you're subscribed and you have that bell hit if anything comes out. And if you want to go the extra mile, you can become a channel member for starting at just a small fee a month. It helps out the channel an absolute ton and really supports me and helps make the videos I do, and you earn loads of cool perks, rewards and stuff exclusive to you to use in the comments below. But anyways, apart from all that, thank you guys for watching and I'll see you later.